So let's talk about Java. If you're building those huge, scalable, really secure applications, the enterprise level stuff, there's one name that just completely dominates the conversation: Spring. It is, without a doubt, one of the most famous and dominant frameworks in the entire Java ecosystem. But here's the crazy part: Spring first came out way back in 2003. In the tech world, that is ancient history. So the big question is, how on earth is a framework that's over 20 years old not just surviving, but actually thriving and still so loved by developers? That's what we're going to unpack.
To really get why Spring was such a big deal, we have to kind of hop in a time machine. See, before Spring came along, the world of big-time Java development was ruled by this one thing: Java Enterprise Edition, or what everyone just called Java EE.
And the difference between the two was just night and day. On one hand, you had Java EE. Now, it was powerful, don't get me wrong, but it was notoriously heavy and complex. We're talking tons of setup, a really steep learning curve. It was just a pain to work with. And then Spring came along with this radical idea. What if we offered a lightweight, simple alternative that made developers' lives way, way easier? And so, into this world of incredible complexity, stepped the Spring framework. It was this breath of fresh air, promising a whole new, much simpler way to build the exact same kinds of powerful applications. You can really see the evolution here. Before 2003, Java EE was pretty much the only game in town. Then, in 2003, Spring shows up to fix all those headaches. But fast forward to today, whoa, it's not just one framework anymore. It has exploded into this massive, sprawling ecosystem. And that's really the key thing to understand. When we say Spring today, we're not talking about a single thing. Think of it more like a giant umbrella. And under that umbrella, you've got all these different projects: Spring Boot for building apps super fast, Spring Data for talking to databases, Spring Security, and even new cutting-edge stuff like Spring AI. It's a whole universe. So what was the original magic that made it all click? Well, it all comes down to this one core concept that, at the time, was absolutely revolutionary: dependency injection. So what the heck is that? At its heart, the idea is actually pretty simple. Instead of your own code having to create every single object it needs to work, you just declare what you need. Then the Spring framework creates those objects for you and injects them right where you need them. It's called inversion of control because it completely flips the responsibility. The framework is in control of creating things, not you. Let's make this super concrete. Imagine you're writing a class for a developer, and for that developer to do their job, they need a laptop. Normally, you'd have to write the code to create that laptop yourself. But with Spring, you just say, hey, this developer needs a laptop. And that's it. The Spring container, the brain of the framework, sees that, creates the laptop object, and just hands it over. You never had to build it. The framework handles it all, so you can just focus on your actual app. Okay, so Spring solved the big, messy problem of Java EE. Fantastic. But in the process, it kind of introduced a new, slightly smaller problem of its own. See, even though Spring was creating all these objects for you, you had to tell it exactly what to create and how to connect everything. And this was usually done in these massive, super complicated XML files. So while it cut down on the Java code, it created this whole new world of configuration complexity. And this is where the next huge leap happened. In the old Spring world, you were drowning in XML and manually setting up web servers like Tomcat. But then Spring Boot came along and just changed everything. It introduced this idea of convention over configuration, which is a fancy way of saying it makes smart decisions for you. It even includes a web server right inside your project. This incredible evolution was called Spring Boot, and it was a total game changer all over again, because it was built specifically to solve Spring's own configuration problem. And I think this quote from our source material just sums it up perfectly. Spring Boot's whole attitude is basically, all those annoying configuration problems, don't worry about them. I'll take care of it. Its entire purpose is to make your job easy. And how easy are we talking? Well, with Spring Boot, you can literally build and run your very first web API in about 2 minutes. I mean, that was just unthinkable in the old world of manual setup. And this magic is possible because of a tool called the Spring Initializer. You just go to a website, start.spring.io, you check a few boxes for what you need, like Spring Web, hit generate, and it gives you a fully configured project. You just download it, open it, and run it. All that boilerplate is just gone.
So at the end of the day, Spring Boot gives you everything you need right out of the box. It has this incredible auto configuration feature that just figures things out for you. It bundles a web server so you don't have to install one yourself. And it uses these things called starters to pull in all the right libraries for you. It's just so smart.
If you take away just one thing from all of this, let it be this simple idea. Spring was created to simplify complex Java. And then Spring Boot was created to simplify Spring. It's just this amazing story of continuous simplification.
And that kind of leaves us with this really interesting question, right? As our frameworks and tools get smarter and smarter and handle more and more of the tedious work for us, what does that free us up as developers to do next? What's the next great challenge we get to solve?